What's up, YouTube and Facebook, and welcome back to Not Quite Mint. I'm Tom.
And I'm Rich. That was definitely not quite me.
Yeah, I got a bit confused with my overlays. It's been a week or two. Welcome back, guys. It is our event review show where we're going to be reviewing the X of Swords, where we're going to cover the last 3 issues that came out. So you've got X of Swords Stasis, X-Men issue 13, I want to say, and Marauders. So we're just going to cover those chapters that have recently come out. We've also got a special guest, which will be dropping in shortly. So should we get into this, Rich?
Yeah, definitely get into it. And if you are new to the channel, do make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit dingly bell little thing so you don't miss our content, and obviously smash the like button. Let's get as many likes as we can on this show. Yeah, so let's do it.
Yeah, cool, man. And if you're not following us on any of the social media outlets, please do, because we are very live on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. And if you follow us on Instagram, you get to know all about my Not Quite Mint comics, which is always cool to look at. I can see we've got Geeky in. What's up, Geeky? Geeky's here. And MJ Comics is here too. What's up, guys?
Maybe James. I'm going to be guessing James.
And we have, for the show, dropping in with us is Ben from Straight Outta Crampton. I'm going to swap us around.
The not-so-special guest now.
The not-so-special guest. You're still special in our eyes, Ben.
I have to apologise in advance because it's the 5th, isn't it, of November? So sounds like World War III outside. It sounds like Trump has kicked off the potential results and started World War III outside the window.
I can't hear it, mate, so you're all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, there you
go.
We got it somewhere. Ben,
Thanks for having me back, guys.
Are you in your toilet tonight, or are you actually in a room?
I'm next to my toilet. That's my toilet. So
nice.
There's a whiff, but I'm not.
There's a whiff
side of it.
Flushing sound effects and everything.
We've got this woman that we work with called Jill, she's a really nice woman, but she just tends to always go to the bog at work, and she just drops them terribly. So we just call them the Jill bombs from now on.
I can't believe you're calling Jill out on
you just actually name the person.
Well. She doesn't watch the channel. It's fine.
You might. You never know, man.
No, definitely not. What's up, GP?
Jill.
Yeah, GP. I've heard this, doesn't it? It stinks the whole of the office out though as well.
Yeah, because the toilet's right next to the office. As soon as she's done, it's Jill bomb. It's there needs a warning with it. But there you go.
Well, we're here to talk about.
It's a weird start to the show. I'm not going to lie.
Sorry, shall we get into it? Let's do it, shall we? Yeah. So the first one up that we're going to talk about is X-Men Stasis issue 1. So what did we think of this one then, chaps? Do you want to go first, Rich?
Yeah, I'll kick us off. Obviously, I think it's worthwhile pointing out that I think up until probably this issue, I like the start. I like creation. I like the issue 1, and then we've had this all big build up where we've had a bit of faffing about where all the other storylines have been kind of pushed to the side, and everybody's been going around obviously finding their swords and stuff. And for me, it was getting a little bit frustrating with that. It was a little bit slow. So for me, reading this, how was kind of a return to the good kind of feeling that I got in the first issue with creation. So what I mean is that you sort of go back to obviously seeing Saturnine and all the rest of it. But what I also thought was good in this one was that they wrapped up obviously all of the Araco sword bearers getting their swords in about 10 pages, which they took 10 books to do for the rest of the X-Men. And I just
my one annoyance with this book is the fact that they could have done this for everything else that was up to this bit.
Yeah, I almost expected that to happen, that we were going to go and see the Araco crew obviously get introduced and stuff, and but that didn't happen. So obviously we got but I do really enjoy, is it Pogger Pog?
Yeah.
Yes. I'm so glad you said Pogger Pog.
He's awesome.
What a legend. grumpy, mutanty type of crocodile dude. So, but yeah, so cool. He was. I don't know. I kind of just like. I liked it, and you'll get the. I'll carry on those positive vibes in the other book. What did you think, Ben?
Well, firstly, I'm thrilled that you've brought Pog to the table. Anyone, I always feel an affinity with anyone who refers to themselves in the third person.
Cool, yeah.
Don't know why, but yes, he can stay. If anyone stays from this, I think it's him. But I get what you're saying. I think it was very similar in feel, this Stasis book. By the way, didn't know how to pronounce it. I thought it was Stasis for about a week.
Do you know what, mate? I'm not very good with letters either.
Also, what does that even mean, that word?
Isn't it like a stasis, like as in like they're at a stasis? They're kind of like a
like
a stasis point. Yeah.
Look, you guys had a better education than me, clearly, but yeah. So I get what you feel. I get what you're saying. It had a similar feel to that that first kind of book. I know I'm saying that there's been too much, you know, and they're drawing it out too long and things like that. But for me, I would have actually enjoyed seeing them all get their swords individually in an individual issue as well. I just wish that this whole thing was clearer. And I think you could have had a field day with like variant covers and things like that. If it was just really clear, like Wolverine, like, you know, X of Swords Wolverine or something, and that was the issue that he gets his sword, and Q, you know, 5 different variant issues of Wolverine, and then Pog, you know, issue 1, and then, you know, he gets his sword, and you could have gone through 20. You could have had 20 issues, but what it would have done is really kind of introduce those characters and kind of you know, for me, I just feel no connection with that lot from Araco yet, anyway. But I will come back to that in maybe one of the following issues. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't love it, but it's starting. It felt like the tide is starting to turn slightly, you know, in terms of the way that this story is being told. So, and it's all starting to get a little bit clearer with who they are, what they're about, and everything as well. So, yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you mostly. I thought it was a really very good issue. I enjoyed the fact that they wrapped it all up in one comic, though, all the X of Swords, and I wish they'd have done that with the others, because we've already got our connection to all those other characters. Actually, now you've said it, it probably would have made more sense for them to do it the other way around. So get all the X-Men to get their swords, and then follow each individual story of these new characters, so we actually get to know a bit more about them. But I'm guessing that's hopefully what's coming. But yeah, I totally agree. I think Pog is wicked. I really like his character design. I think he's ace. I also like the idea of this character that can't be beaten. Or I can't remember her name, but she's like, whatever team she's on or whatever she's done, she just cannot be beaten. That's her mutant ability.
Go on, Rich. What's her name?
He'll know. Go on, Rich. His mind's going.
You say his mind's going. He's looking at a computer. You can see.
He's got two screens, mate.
Yeah, I know.
It's like Issa or
Issa. It's his sister, isn't it?
Yeah, basically. Oh,
I can check, but I'm going to freeze. Wait.
I'll see you, man. Just turn yourself to one side.
Yeah. What I don't know. It's really interesting, actually. You guys talking about that whole because I was a bit bored of like an issue, get a sword. Here's an issue, get a sword, and it was like it felt like it was being dragged out. Where I think, like you say, whereas this one we could have had that a bigger how everybody else got their swords and stuff. Because I don't know about you, but do you think that the character is like the white sword of something or other, like the white sword character? Yeah, he reminds me of Thanos a little bit, but like
I think he's got something to do with Apocalypse, mate. Go on.
Yeah.
What? disappeared again.
It's the white sword. It's the white sword.
White sword.
I've got a reference picture that I keep checking, but I'm obviously on my phone. And the other character is called Iska, the Unbeaten.
Yeah. That's the badger.
Yeah, cool character. But yeah, like you said, and I almost think what they possibly could have done, you know, like how we had all the issues where all the individual X-Men got their swords. I think they missed a chance of having almost. They could have done each issue almost like a matchup issue, a bit like a beat 'em up type of thing, where you have like, you know, Wolverine gets his. I mean, you did kind of get that Wolverine because with the whole Solon introduction and obviously you had him getting his sword, and then you had obviously the X-Force and I think the X-Factor or whatever, whichever one it was, the X-Force, where Solon was in it. So you got that idea that they're going to be facing off against each other, but they should have done that, I think, more with all the other characters, because I don't really know who's fighting who yet, quite. Do you know what I mean?
I think
I almost need like a simple, like, Iska the Unbeaten versus, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I need like a cheesy advert for
it. We need a Mortal Kombat setup.
That's the one, yeah. Like an old school wrestling poster.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I have seen
like a Raw Rumble job.
Yeah, there's a couple of retailer exclusives that are coming, like either you two seen them, but they are doing like a Street Fighter style wraparound covers. I think it's possibly David Nakayama, the artist, but I'll have to find. I'll share it with you guys because they are cool covers. But they are actually doing that with a couple of like the future issues. So yeah, well, that when I saw that cover, I thought that was what made me think, oh, they should have done that like as a bit of a matchup thing. But I do wonder if that's what this second half's going to be, where obviously with the other issues we're going to talk about today, they're obviously setting up that it's the day before the fights begin, and I don't know how they're going to stage. It's obviously going to it's going to be individual matchups. Do you know what I mean? Rather than, you know, your 10 X-Men and your Racco lot all fighting at the same time. So I wonder if we're going to have obviously individual issues with each of the matchups.
Oh yeah, I mean that would be. I was kind of hoping it would be like that, but now you've just said it. I think a Royal Rumble would be so much better if they just chucked them all in at one go and just see who comes out on top.
I couldn't see anyone getting pog over the top rope, to be honest.
No, definitely not, mate. Apocalypse might try. He is the top rope, yeah.
But I think it was I think in a way you could read creation, and I don't know if they're setting it up like that. You could read creation, then skip to this stasis, and I have a feeling when destruction comes out in a couple of weeks, I have a feeling that you could probably read these 3 issues and get that feel of knowing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think I agree to a certain extent, but I think the next issue we're going to talk about is fundamental read, only because of what happens at the end of Stasis when you find out that Annihilation is obviously we are doing spoilers, aren't we? Yeah, obviously Genesis, which is Apocalypse's wife.
Yeah.
Which then if we move on to the next issue, which is issue 12 or 13 of X-Men, one of the two, and we actually then get 14. The backstory or 14. I might be completely behind. 14. So we get this whole backstory of like how she ended up as Annihilation, and the fact that she didn't want to be, she had to be, and now she is. She loves it. I thought that was quite a cool way of doing it. I mean, I really enjoyed this issue. I thought this was one of the best ones yet. I liked the story between the two of them. I liked the little to and from with her, and she's like, "I think you're a bit weak, Apocalypse. Like, I don't think you're as strong as you were." And he's like, "No, I'm me. I'm the master. You know what I mean?" Like, I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was really good. I did like their kind of to and from relationship sort of thing. And I like that she was broken down to the point where she's like, yeah, essentially I had to take on the mask because people were getting killed and people were getting slaughtered. So I had to sacrifice myself to help them. And now I'm pure evil. It's like, yeah, that's cool. What did you guys
Happens
think?
To the best of us, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I thought this was one of the most tender, like, Apocalypse comics that we've ever had. Like, it was it was kind of weird to get an insight into him a lot more emotionally than I think we've ever had. You know, it was
they
kind of
hands.
Yeah, that was such a beautiful moment. You know, where they kind of have this like intense, you know, Shakespearean, you know, word off, face off, and then they kind of just hold hands and kind of walk away as she tells this epic tale, and that was kind of lovely. But yeah, like you were saying, Tom, it was quite funny with her like basically saying like, you know, what's wrong with you these days? Like, you used to be a man.
Yeah,
you know, and he's like, no, I still got it. So yeah, I just thought this was a really well-written character piece for both characters, Apocalypse and Annihilation, or whatever she wants to call herself these days. And yeah, lovely artwork as well. And yeah, it was kind of just a good, like, solid kind of book in terms of like getting a better understanding of him and her and why this is kind of all happening a bit more as well. So it's slowly, for me, kind of peeling away the layers, and I'm slowly kind of getting a better understanding and getting a better connection to the story and stuff. Slowly.
Also, I liked that in this one there was no dissertations to read.
No, it was. It flowed, you know. It flowed. I think, you know, it was. They talk in you know, such an unrealistic way, as ancient, you know, Egyptian kind of, you know, gods would, but it still flowed, and it was back and forth, and yeah, it was good. I didn't give up, you know, halfway through, which some of these comics I have. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, totally. This is the thing for me. For me, it's like it felt like we're getting actual like proper story progression rather than, as I say, people just getting a sword. Oh, another person gets the sword. This is like, for me, you've got it. I finally got my head around the fact that you have Krakoa, you have Arako, and then you have Nementh, which is obviously this like demon dimension thing, and it brought all of that into focus for me to understand what's going on. And I suppose in a way it was frustrating not knowing that in the detail that we now know, with obviously Apocalypse's wife being Annihilation, and obviously, you know, being involved in that whole, like, you know, she was left behind on Arako, and then ultimately, you know, obviously comes to, you know, through having to fight the Amanthian hordes, you know, that went off, defeated Annihilation, and then take on the helm herself, and had no choice other than to attack her own people back in Arako, but almost like put them under this kind of like into almost like a prison state where, you know, the mutants then were fought. Well, there's a page, isn't there, in this where it says it's like the 3 rules of or something like that, or Arako, and it says, you know, something like, you know, breed mutants, attack, or something like that, and it's like the 3 rules or something like that.
Yeah.
And it just sounds brutal. Yet when you see obviously Genesis speaking to Apocalypse, you almost see 2 very equal people. So I thought it was really well written as well. In that respect, that you got that sense that these 2 characters, they still have feelings for each other, despite what they're expected to do. You know, that, you know, one of them's going to probably end up killing the other one or whatever. So yeah, I liked it. I really thought it was a good issue.
Yeah, I think you're right, mate. I didn't think of it till you just said, but you are right. They do put them as equals, but there is this slight edge that Genesis has had a much harder kind of story than Apocalypse, so he looks a bit soft to her. I don't think he is going to be soft at all. I think he's going to be the one to watch in this, but the fact that she's basically said, "You're soft," yeah, and he's like, "No, I'm not." I like that. I thought that was a really nice touch.
Yeah,
it's an interesting it's an interesting thing that you picked up on there as well, Rich, with like the different kind of approach that like Arako has and Krakoa and stuff, and it's almost like, you know, Arako is the Cobra Kai, and Krakoa is the like Miyagi-Do. For anyone that's not seen Cobra Kai, watch that.
Oh, mate. I've binge watched it in a couple of days.
If they stick to that as well, and I think the more you kind of explore that there might not necessarily be bad, evil, completely evil, individuals. They're just kind of, it's a survival thing. Then that could be maybe more interesting than just like, we're here, we're gonna, fight you.
Do we think this is going to end with like the fact that the only way out of Akoa kind of not taking on or taking Krakoa and turning it into what they've done? Because obviously she's taken the helm and she's almost become like a parasite. So she's kind of like taking over everything. The only way to stop her is to remove the helm. Do you think it's going to come to the point where it's like Apocalypse is going to have to his wife? Do you know what I mean? Like in a really sad, tense moment where it's like he has no choice but to decapitate his wife and take the helm himself, or kind of chuck her in some kind of pit or something. Do you know what I mean? It's horrible to think about it, but I don't know whether that would be where they're going with it.
Maybe he doesn't have to do it so violently. What's wrong with
it? Maybe he could just give her a bunch of flowers and be like, "Could you just bugger off to somewhere else?"
Absolute sicko. I was thinking, maybe a small discreet pocket knife, but decapitation.
Well, she said that she decapitated Annihilation, didn't she? So I just thought that would be the natural next thing to do. But you're probably right. Something subtle, like a little pocket knife or something, probably would be a bit better.
I mean, me and my wife have disagreements, but
sorry.
Tom going straight for the axe, the old Viking axe. I know you've got one, Tom.
Yeah, curb stomping, draw stomping, and
all He's got one of those badass Apocalypse sword, weird bent sword things that he's got.
I don't, but I do want one. Sorry, Rich, what did you say? I missed that.
I think it's called the Scarab. Is it called the Scarab sword or something like that?
Yeah. Did I notice in this issue? Like, I know he's got the one. Did I notice in this issue he's able to pull them apart and have two?
In the other issue, when he found the blades, the blade was in two parts and it went together. But I don't know if he can split this blade. I didn't notice that, but yeah, maybe he can, because I know there were definitely two blades when he found it, and they decimated that pyramid or whatever in the other issue.
Yeah, because there's a panel in this where I think it shows them when he's fighting and him and his wife are together on that Akoa thing, or when it's one nation, and he's got the two in and he stood up on this little pedestal, and I was kind of cool. That's kind of cool if it kind of pulls apart. It's almost like that. There's a Gundam that does it in the Gundam Wing series, who's got like one similar sword, and he pulls it out and it becomes two. Anyway, I've gone off on a bit of a tangent.
If Rich and I do that, it's like Dragon Ball Z, like
fusion. What? And then I'm the fuse.
Yeah. Fuse.
So you two become me. Excellent.
That's not a fusion that anyone wants to see, Rich and I.
I'd like to see that.
That would be being put in a dumpster, that baby. Yes. I honestly, I think this is one of the best Apocalypse books for a long time. I really do.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was really good. So moving on from that issue, because it was a really good issue, we then ended up with Marauders, which was the next one in. Do you want to go start with this one, Ben? Do you want to say what you think about this one?
Yes, I will. Thank you. I love this.
Sorry, who are you and what have you done with the previous Ben Crampton that we had on this show?
Hated it. Bloody X of Swords. No, do you know what? It was, I'm going to throw it out there. I think it was my favourite issue of this today. I felt like it was, it was really kind of true to the Marauders spirit. All of the reason why I love this Marauders series, it's the writing, it's the artwork, it's the way the kind of characters come across, and just the way it's put together. And I felt like this felt like a Marauders comic within this event, which was nice. Still annoyed that literally every storyline about Sebastian Shaw and stuff like that has been dropped, but I kind of felt like I'm getting again even more of an understanding. It was another layer that's pulled out that these guys are kind of all maybe a little bit reluctant. And even on their side, both our X-Men and their side, it's a kind of a reluctance to it, and they're in this like awkward, kind of dinner party where it's like a weird kind of gathering before they all basically try and slaughter each other. And that just kind of, for me, was like a really kind of funny, humorous kind of scenario, to be honest. Humorous and surreal, and the surrealness was added by the kind of artwork of how they put the room together, and there was kind of mermaids under the table. It was weird.
It almost felt like a Dr. Evil lair, like from Austin Powers.
Yeah, it was ridiculous, but we obviously, per the cover there, Storm and hold on, I'm going to freeze while I check the name.
It's Death, mate.
Death. Oh, good. This is the easiest name. How did I not remember that one? Yes, their back and forth was delicious. Like, it was just so sexy. Like, they were both. It was like tic-tac-toe. Like, she's like, yeah, I've been acquainted with death all my life, and you can only get this close to me. And I was, oh yeah. And he was kind of like suave, and it was great. It was really, really great. So I presume those two are the ones that are fighting.
I'm not sure who's fighting who. I haven't got to that point yet. Oh. Because if you go off in stasis, there's a bit where they're all stood in a circle. And then underneath, you've got the ones they're supposed to be facing. Yeah, Solomon and Wolverine are on opposite sides. So that wouldn't say that they are going to fight each other to me. But I know that they got the same sword. I don't know.
And that's why I'm saying it's completely thrown me. That reflection, I thought that reflection would show who, the opposing sides of the coin, if you like, and it didn't, as far as I would understand it. So, and that's where I'm really confused with it. So they might be fighting these guys, but it was very. I agree with you.
It only needs a panel or something, like for Saturnine to be like, "Welcome everyone." Just to remind you, we have Wolverine versus blah blah blah, and do you know what I mean? And just show them all. Like, that's all we need.
Or do like a proper selection screen, or like little things come up, and it's like.
Yeah, like, but just something simple throughout this would be nice. But yeah, no, I love this. I thought Pogopog was, I really did fall in love with him during this, with him like eating the, what was it, like a menu or something.
It's like a tarot card, just to give him his.
That's the one, yeah. And magic. Can I just say as well, magic. The writing for Magic has been brilliant for this. Like, I really feel like she's coming into her own as this kind of like, badass kind of, not, lacking humanity, but still kind of being a hero type character. Like, I'm really enjoying what they're doing with her. So, I just thought it was a great fun issue. It was a little bit clearer, and that final panel, that was the first time where I went, oh, I've got to read the next chapter now. And I haven't felt that yet.
I said that to Rich.
Yeah. Duff moment.
Definitely.
A good duff.
Yeah, I agree with Ben. Like, this was like, it just felt like a fun but very relevant book. And it was really well written. It was funny. The dialogue was really good. I really liked it, how you had like both sides kind of like starting to like size each other up, but like then there's like the background frustration that was being displayed by Wolverine, which obviously is a whole other subject in this story. But like, he's like got all this like background aggression where he's like arguing with his own kind of like teammates, because obviously Wolverine does that. He's very much like a lone kind of character, isn't he? Very single-minded and everything, which was cool, and I like that. But yeah, you started getting that idea that, these guys are going to actually like start fighting, and, it is all a little bit like of a farce in a way. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, what's the point? Why are they being set up the way that they are in this like formal duel, if you like, when it like, all they're trying to do is please the best wishes of obviously this saturnine person up in a starlight citadel or whatever it's called. Do you know what I mean? And it's all very showy, isn't it? And flouncy. I mean, did you a few giggles from the weirdness of the menu? Like where it was like, I don't know.
Yeah. Did they had creme brulee at one point, didn't they? It's in their pudding or something.
Yeah, it was like something relatively normal, then like dragon spunk like thrown in the middle of it or something. You know what I mean?
Lovely.
It wasn't really ready. It was like, what the hell's going on with this?
So I've got the menu here. So I can find it.
It was so weird. Yeah, if you read it out, it's just like, it's so weird. Dragon spunk wasn't on the menu. I will just point that out. But there were like similar stuff.
But now we know how your mind works.
Now we know where your mind goes, Rich, in the gutter.
That's it. Yeah. Well,
everyone watches Game of Thrones for Daenerys. Rich is there for the dragons. All day long.
Find it.
You know what though? I think it's interesting, Wolverine in this issue as well. It almost feels like he's the voice of us as the reader. It's like he's going, "This doesn't make sense. Like, why are we, obeying this ceremony and obeying this so-called kind of prophecy or whatever? It's ridiculous, and that was quite fun. I think I felt like I really related to Wolverine in that. Also, say about sizing people up, the dropping of the glasses, the dropping of the drinks.
With the unbeaten.
That was fantastic, that exchange. Loved it.
Yeah, I thought, I only slightly disagree with pair of you. And that is that I thought the previous issue, the X-Men issue 14, was the best one so far. That's my only disagreement. This was a beautiful comic. It made me laugh. It gave me the feels. Like I was like, yeah, this is cool. And I agree with you, Ben. The bit between Storm and Death was quality. And I actually don't know. I'm pretty sure Storm has died in the X-Men run, but maybe she hasn't. Maybe that's what the whole thing is. That's his kind of. That's what he's attracted to her, is because she's actually never died, but she has danced and diced with death. I think that could be a kind of a symbolization of that.
It's hard with comics because everyone
has died at some point.
Or
Colossus died.
Colossus, Nightcrawler, like X-Men as well. They love dying.
That's the bit they do best.
Oh well, let us know in the comments. Someone,
if anyone
Storm
knows,
ever died.
Yeah, because I really like that.
Did you find the menu?
Yes, I've got it, mate. Yeah. What do you want to read out? This is where I have got the worst. So you've got amuse bouche, ghost fig dried in age-croaked market. Ghost fig dried in the crooked market during the evil winds following from bright stroke. Nice. Okay, I can't read that word. I don't even know what that word is. So blood wine fermented from the extracts of the nobles. Nice. Served in steamware harvested from the crystalline bones of a lunar bats. Nice. Do you want that? That's a nice amuse-bouche. First course, a sea-leaf salad harvested from the shadow trenches of a bruised urine of an Oh, Jesus Christ. I can't read. Of a giant
You know
squid.
what, though? I did the typical fat boy thing. I didn't read the menu.
Yeah, just ordered it.
I was just like, I love that.
But they've got chilled creme brulee, but they like honey drizzled fay wings. What's that all about? But this is a 6-course meal. It's a 6-course meal.
Yeah, that'll be Michelin star. That will.
Yeah.
And you can dance with mermaids in the interval.
Yeah. Also, they never got wet. What's that all about?
Yeah, it was kind of weird, but I just let it go.
Yeah, I like that.
It was like weird. It was like they went underwater for the dance and then kind of came back up, and I just thought I'm just gonna let it go.
But I think you're right, Ben. I think Wolverine is the voice of the reader in this, because it's kind of like he's the grumpy old uncle who's had a bit to drink and he's like, right, I have no idea what's going on. I'm going to find out. And if I can't find out, I'm going to force my way to find out what's going on. And I totally got to the end of this book and was like, I've got to wait a week for the next chapter. What?
Yeah.
That's not fair. But
And I think
that's
why I kind of like. Yeah, that's why I kind of like this one, because it was that whole thing where the team filled in a lot of the gaps and gave like a real good context for where we're going and why we're doing this and the stakes. And whereas I thought with this one, it just it set it up perfectly for actually wanting to read next week's, and I haven't felt like that on any other books. And as I say, I just found this one really entertaining and just like a breath of fresh air, really. And yeah, I mean, do we want to actually talk about that final panel? What
spoilers are allowed, mate. We're doing spoilers.
Schnitt.
Because it is, yeah. I mean, me and Tom were like, when I read it, I texted Tom like just to say, have you read it? And he was like, yeah. It was like, fucking hell, don't invite Wolverine to your Christmas party. Do you know what I mean?
The bit where he just completely abuses poor Brian Baddock. He's like, you could sort this out. Just go and give her one. It's fine, and it'll be all over. Go and cheat on your wife.
Yeah, give her a shag, and we won't have to all kill each other. Which kind of makes a little bit of sense.
It's a sacrifice of the few for the many, isn't it?
You know, and it's, well, you know, it's, I don't think Saturnine, there's probably worse places to go. Anyway, you know, Wolverine, like it was, and that kind of moment on that final panel, it was proper old school, impulsive, you know, reactionary Wolverine, which is why we all kind of fell in love with the character. You know, you know, what he does isn't very nice, you know, but he has to do it, sort of thing. And I loved it. I was like, yeah. Like,
go on.
She'll be fine.
Yeah,
like she'll be fine.
He's going to be fine.
Yeah. What? But then, didn't War sprinkle some stuff on his dinner, didn't she?
This is what I was going to say, because obviously, like, there was the whole thing where he was slightly distracted, having a word with Saturnine before he stabbed her, and yeah, it was I couldn't quite add up whether or not he had
what are you doing?
Ate stuff that was being sprinkled on his dinner, or whether he'd just like gone full bore. I'm going to just stab her. I've had enough. Do you know what I mean? See what happens.
Yeah, but I think
it wasn't clear what that was. Like, was it?
He did speak to Storm though earlier on, didn't he? He was like, "I'm going to have to do what I need to do," and she's like, "Yeah, just don't miss."
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I didn't pick up on. Yeah, I didn't kind of connect that. Gosh, yeah, I love it, and that, you know, that in itself is just such a cool exchange, isn't it, with Storm as well?
Yeah,
you know, they are. Storm really is, I think, the leader that the X-Men need sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, old school Cyclops wouldn't have said that, would he?
No.
Do you know what I mean?
I like they're not using. I like they're not using like Cyclops or Jean Grey in this. I like that they're using some of the other characters. I did. I'm
loving like how cute Cypher is throughout the story.
Yeah, I just want to give him a hug. Like he's just gonna get killed. 100% gonna get killed.
If Cypher gets killed, I am kicking off. I'm telling you.
I did notice that, you know, we were talking earlier about the White Sword, this kind of like epic character that brings 1,000 warriors with him back to life every day or whatever. He isn't in this book. He doesn't appear at all. He doesn't come to the table. So is he actually not that keen on fighting for Akoa?
Yeah.
Could he be the 10th sword, the betrayal sword?
Yeah, I don't know. Because they're all saying that it's actually going to. There was speculation to say that it was going to be Storm who's the big betrayer. But yeah, like setting it up interestingly, like, you know, who's going to betray who and who's going to end up winning? Because could it be Apocalypse who betrays? You know, Krakoa to, you know, obviously to kill his wife and then take over. Obviously, Arachno and stuff. So yeah, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
Survival of the fittest, mate. But I think Ben's right. I think if Cypher gets killed, it's going to be a riot. It's just poor Cypher.
What have we got? have you got the list of what's coming next, Tom?
Yes, I do.
Marauders 15
Somewhere.
is the next one, I think.
Is it, here we go. So, no, that's not helpful at all. I've just written Exosword tie-ins, issue 14, 15, and 16. Well done. What issues are they from?
Marauders is next again. So it's and I'm quite excited about that as well, because it's kind of, because it was a duff moment. I'm glad we're getting like the same creative in the next.
Okay.
It will almost feel like a two-parter, which will be good. I'm really worried Cypher's going to die now, man.
Do you know what? I think they're setting it up for. I think Hickman's basically saying Cypher is going to die, and that's going to be the thing that doesn't happen out of all the obvious things. I feel
FYI, though, if Cypher dies, no one can speak to Krakoa and communicate what Krakoa is feeling and is up to. So just saying.
True. Yeah. They'll have to. Surely someone else has that mutant ability to talk to Krakoa.
I mean, you can talk to him. He won't talk back.
Yeah. Or what about the bloke who can have him on his belly? He can talk it through.
Oh yeah. There
you go. There is a way around it.
Loophole.
Loophole. Well, that is it, guys. Thank you ever so much for sticking with us and listening to our event review of X of Swords. If you do want to check it out, go to your local comic shop and pick them up. They are amazing, these 3 issues. This is our first positive video on this.
Don't go to your local comic shop because it's probably closed.
Oh yeah, good point. Go to your local online comic book shop.
There you go.
There we go. Ben, do you want to tell everyone what you've got coming up on your channel?
Yes, it's back to work as usual. Halloween is over, but I've got like a month worth of spooky backlog there. If that is your thing. Otherwise, it's the usual stuff. So this week, as in yesterday, I posted a video with these 2 gentlemen on. So Not Quite Mint were lucky enough to join me for the Birth Month Books feature. So do tune into that and see how they did. I was going to say how well they did, but
I'm just annoyed because I'm pretty sure you told me I was going to be top of the leaderboard, so you lied.
No, I never gave you that. you formulated that in your own head. But I tried. Yes, and then Crampton Clicks is back as well, so that's where I show my hero clicks, and I've got a kick-ass special of that, which has gone live tonight. And then tomorrow, as if that wasn't enough, I've got it's going to be the last Birth Month Books of the series, so that is with the Grey Man. And that is a belter of the Birth Month Books. So do tune into that tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one. I'm very excited for Grey Man's one.
It's a good one.
I'm just glad you've kind of extended the leaderboard, so if anyone else actually goes on it, we don't get knocked off.
Yeah, it just, down. It'll be 50, 51, 52.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Cool.
So that is it for us. Thank you, Ben, for joining us. It's been a pleasure, as always, to have you on. Rich, do you want to tell everyone what we've got coming up on Not Quite?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a unboxing video on Saturday, which is the Comic Mystery Box UK. It is the one we had for October. I have got my order in for November's one, and which obviously has some of Tom's artwork in there as well, which is going to be cool to get that. So that'll be on. We'll do that unboxing in a couple of weeks' time. Something that is worthwhile saying is obviously we are on the cusp of hitting 250 subscribers, which is quite a little milestone. I'm quite excited about that. When we do that over the next week or whatever, it will more than likely be either next Thursday's video or or Saturday's video. I think we're going to do a giveaway, aren't we? We're going to launch a bit of a giveaway to head towards 500 subscribers. So it's going to be a CGC related giveaway. We're going to build up till we get to 500 subscribers. But we're because we like to build up stuff, don't we? So
you love the CGC, don't you, Ben?
No. I am near 300 subscribers.
Oh, nice.
And I'm not doing a giveaway.
Oh dear, poor Tom. God.
I thought you was going to like give away hugs or something.
Give you back.
I can give them away all day long, but it's borderline prostitution. That's the problem.
I'd like a Ben Crampton with a pop vinyl. To be honest, that's what I want.
There's one in existence, and if you really want it, I will send it out as the worst AOK ever.
Don't send it to Tom. He'll take it to bed with him, and it'll cause problems.
Hey, yeah. Dragon Boy, you can't say anything.
Well,
but, and then apart from that, we've got our usual keys video out on Tuesday. So yeah, just keep your eyes open, really. Just obviously, and on that note, I suppose it's a good idea to say subscribe, hit the dingly bell so you don't miss any of our uploads and content, and obviously smash that thumbs up. And yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I'll say the same. Thanks for coming. Yeah. Sorry, Rich. I just interrupted you. I'm sorry for that. Sorry. Yeah, I'm going to agree with Rich. Thanks for coming, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you, Ben. All of you, make sure you stay safe, stay sexy, and see you.